All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, October the 4th. So we have a little bit less than an hour, maybe like 50 minutes roughly. All right, so again, these are the ones that I highlighted, the ones that I went through at the 8:30 a.m. class. So if you're watching this recording, you can always watch the 8:30 one to see those examples worked out. But I will go through the ones that you want me to. So which ones do you want me to go over? What's the first one? Number one, sure. All right, number one, we have to solve the inequality. This is probably our first lesson of the school year. So we have to solve this, get everything on one side, so subtract the eights. Then we want to solve by factoring, and when you factor this, set them equal to 0, we get 2 and -2. So this is a less than or equal than symbol. So these are going to be hollow points at -2 and at 2. Once we have these, we want to do test points. We want to test between, to the left, and to the right. So I chose to test 0 for the in between, and we plug this in and we get a true statement. So 4 is less than 8, so that's true. So that tells us these points connect. This is TGA number 1 from Unit 1 test, which a lot of you didn't do test points. You just kind of, I don't know, guess or cheated. I don't know. And you went right from this to like an answer. But these could actually go outwards, and we need to test that. So, I tested -3. I could have tested really anything. We plug in -3 into the original problem, and we get a false statement. So that would be an X. So that means our line does not go left. We test to the right. I chose using 3. We could have done 4, we could have done 5 or whatever, even 10. But when we plug in 3 into the original, we also get a false statement. So that tells us it does not go to the right. So true in the middle, false left, false right. So it looks like this. So the interval notation is from -2 to 2. Hollow point, so they are parentheses. If it was underlined, it would be solid points, which would be brackets, but these are hollow parentheses. So from -2 to 2 in interval notation is the answer to number 1. All right, let's go to number 5. All right, if you checked out the content, there is no part 2 to the midterm. And it is multiple choice. All right, number 5. All right, this one we have to solve. So I look at this equation, I notice n-1 and n-1. These are like terms that I can combine. So I want to move this to this side, which I did. I subtracted 5 over n-1 from both sides. And these are the same. So 1 minus 5 is -4 over your common. And then from here, what I did, remember, there's more than one way to approach this problem. We could have cleared fractions. That's one way that would have worked. But I cross multiplied from here. I did -4 times this. I did n-1 times n plus 2. So we distribute the -4 to get this. And then when you FOIL this, we get n squared plus n minus 2. I didn't show the middle work. I trust everyone in pre-calc can FOIL this just fine to get n squared plus n minus 2. Then from here, I move everything to one side. If you notice, I moved everything to the right, and that was to keep my n squared term positive. So I added 4n squared to both sides. I subtracted 12n both sides, and then I added 8 both sides to get this. From here, I then factored. So some of you, actually more than I want to say, factored this polynomial with leading coefficient other than 1, which is in this case a 5. You went right from this to the factored form, and you didn't show any work. So if you notice, I showed my work. I split the middle term, and then I factored it, and then I factored it again, and then I show, this is diamond method. On your TGA, if you went right from this right to the factored form, I really question the authenticity of your work and whether it was you that figured it out, or if you just maybe went online and Googled it or photo mathed it to get the answer. So on your TGA, guys, you really got to show your work. If you showed what I have typed here and you showed this is enough. This tells me you did the diamond method. We did 5 times 6 is 30. Negative 11 goes here. So these numbers, remember, for diamond method, they need to add up to negative 11, and then they need to multiply to positive 30. Well, this is the combination that works, negative 5 and negative 6. So we split the middle term to negative 5 and negative 6n, and then we group the first two together, and then we GCF of 5n out. So again, we group these, GCF of 5n, we group these together, negative 6n and 6, and we pull out a negative 6. If we went backwards, negative 6 times n is negative 6, and negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. So again, guys, you should show your work on your TGA. I really question a lot of your guys' work that went right from this to this. And hopefully you see my point of view of lack of work tells me you didn't do it. So make sure you do show your work, please. So far, everyone that I've graded for part 2 of Unit 2 have done a really good job of showing their work. Because I want to believe everyone's submission is their own work, okay? Don't make me doubt it. All right, so then once we're here, we want to set these equal to 0, which I did, and then we solve. And if you notice, we got two numbers. We got n equals 1 and n equals 6 over 5. And like this says here, I didn't show my work, but you need to plug these in to make sure they work. And when you plug in 1, you can see right here, if you plug in 1 into the original problem, you get 1 minus 1 is 0. And you can't divide by 0. So right away, we know that this is an extraneous solution. That's why there's a slash through the equal sign. So even though we found n equals 1, it doesn't work. So that is the extraneous solution. On your midterm today, when you're given choices, I do not include extraneous solutions. So I could have said, all right, n equals 6/5 and n is not equal to 1 to show that we found both of them, but this one doesn't work. So for your midterm, the choices will only have the valid solutions, which in this case is 6 over 5. One way or another way, what's another way we could have solved this problem? Instead of avoiding all of this work, what's one way we could have figured out this answer? What's another way to solve this problem? It's multiple choice. Yeah, we could have plugged in the answers. We could have guessed and check. It's multiple choice. We could have gone through all of them, A, B, C, and D, and one at a time, plug them into N to see if you get a true statement. Now, I probably wouldn't have started with 6/5 because it's a fraction. I would have skipped this. I would have checked 1 first. We would have got a false statement. I would have checked 5. We would have got a false statement. I then would have checked 4. We would have got a false statement. Because we get a false, false, and false, that really leads us to the only answer is, well, A. Well, so by elimination, the answer, that's maybe how I would have done it. What's another way we could have solved this problem that's actually probably pretty easy? I know another way we could have solved this pretty easy. Yeah, Lizette says graph it. Yeah, we definitely could have just typed this into Desmos. And if we graphed it, what would the graph show us? Like, how would we know what the answer is? Yeah, and like Enzo says, you check for the x-axis intersects, right? The x-intercepts. Yeah, so remember when you graph something, the where it crosses the x-axis, those are the solutions. Now, I've said this many times. So if we type this in Desmos as you see it here, you hit enter, it will cross the x-axis at 1.2, and 1.2 is 6/5. It doesn't cross at x equals 1. It doesn't cross at x equals 5. It doesn't cross at x equals 4. It will cross at x equals 6/5, which is 1.2. Yes, the midterm is multiple choice, just like the review. If you found the review rather easy, the midterm is just as easy. Yeah, there'll be no surprises. Yeah, I expect most people to get A's on this midterm exam. If you take the midterm and you don't pass it, you didn't do the review. So that's why everyone should have done the review this weekend to really see what you know and what you don't know. I hope none of you take this midterm without doing the review first. And some of you saying, "Oh, well, I have all the answers, have all the work. Why should I do it?" Well, me showing you the work and you doing it yourself are two different things. Midterm is today. Did anybody else try typing this into Desmos? I believe if you type this in perfectly, it should work. But you probably don't want to use the n variable in Desmos. What variable do you want to use instead of n? Yeah, you want to use x. If you use n, I don't think it's going to work. Remember, this is a graph, x and y, so you should probably use x instead of n when you type it in. So can you link me the your Desmos so I can look at it? Okay, so you just didn't type. Okay, you figured it out. All right, let's go on. All right, what's the next problem you want me to work out for you or show you the work and explain? All right, what's our next problem you want to go through, guys? Oh, yeah, I thought you talking about. Yep. So there's the list. Again, I am happy that if you did go through this review and there's one of these that we already did in the morning, the 8:30 class, you want me to do again, I can. It's fine. But I think the greatest benefit are doing ones that you have questions on that I didn't cover in the 8:30 class. All right, so number 30. Okay, so you should know how to do the determinant. Number 30 should be an easy problem, right? So there's the work. The determinant of this, you just do -4 times -2 minus 5 times -1. So I showed you the math, and then we get 8, and then we get a negative times a negative makes it a positive 5, and so 8 plus 5 gives us 13. So we all should know how to do that by now. That's pretty basic for Unit 2. Number 6, and then number 18. Sure. All right. So again, there's a few ways to do this. We could have typed this into Desmos, but we would say equals -1. And we could see that if we typed in equals -1, it crosses at 4 and 5. Doing it that way, we could have actually just gotten the zeros, that easy, right? But if you want to do it, the way it was intended, it looks like I moved everything to one side. I then had to multiply this term by 3x minus 15 top and bottom. And that's so I can make them the common denominators, so I can combine. So now it's 4x minus 13 plus 3x minus 15. So combine like terms, we get 4x plus 3x is 7x, -13 plus -15 is -28, all over your common. And then from here, we did talk about how to get your zeros or your intercepts. And from this point, all we're going to do is set the numerator equal to 0. So we get 7x minus 28 to find the first 0. And we also have to set the bottom equal to 0. So I want to say we did problems like this the first lesson of the school year. It's been a while, right? But once we're in this form, we set the top and bottom equal to 0, and we solve to get our points on our number line. So we got 4 and 5, and because it's a greater than or less than symbol, they're hollow points. And what we got to do from here is I didn't show my work, but we have to do test points. We have to test to the left, to the right, and in between. So if I was going to show the work beyond this point, we would plug, I would probably choose 0 to plug into the original problem. I would probably plug in, I don't know, 5, or not, sorry, not 5. I would probably plug in 10. I think 10 is an easy number to plug into equations to solve, but we could have plugged in 6 or 7. You would have got true and true. And then I would probably plug in 4.5 into X to see if we get a true statement. But if you plug in 4.5, I promise you're going to get a false statement. So that's why our lines go out instead of connecting. Yes, you can use Desmos on your test. No, that's fine. You're allowed to use a grapher on every test, so feel free to use Desmos. All right, and then we wanted number 18. All right, this one's super easy. All you got to do is go on the Desmos and type this in and hit enter, and you'll have the answer. This one is a freebie. All of you should know how to use Desmos. If you can't type this into Desmos, you haven't been doing this class right, because we need to be able to use Desmos. We can also use different parts of this, looking at x cubed and x squared. Um, this is one higher than this one. Should remember the being top heavy, bottom heavy, etc. Kind of tells you a bunch of things, right? Because it's one power higher, this tells us there's a slant asymptote. So it looks like A has a slant asymptote, so does C, so does B, and it looks like D does not. D does not have a slant asymptote. It only has vertical asymptotes. So yeah, the answer can't be D based on it needs to have an SA. Also being top heavy, bottom heavy, it is like a top heavy function. So um, what else can we look at? VA, you can solve this to find your VAs. What else can we do? Yeah, so because it's top heavy, remember HA is none. So it's clear to see there's no HA because we have a slant instead. But yeah, just type it into Desmos, really. That's really how you probably do that problem. All right, what else? All right, easy problem. Everyone who worked on this during the weekend probably discovered this was rather easy. We have a matrix equals 2 times a matrix. Well, I'm pretty sure you've seen one of these either in the modules or on your quiz or even on your test. So matrix equals 2 times a matrix. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make the left side equal the right side. So we're going to have to GCF a 2 out of this matrix on the left. So you divide everything by 2 to pull that out. And now we have 2 times a matrix equals 2 times a matrix. So more or less, we just divide both sides by the scaling value 2. And then you get X, matrix X equals, well, the matrix. And that's the answer. All right, what else? Oh. All right, so we've done 1, 5, and 6. 18 and 28. And 30. So 15, we have not done 15 yet. Are you not taking notes, Isaiah? You're letting me down. All right, so 15, yeah, these are easy ones. Remember, for end behavior, you just look at the first term. This is even and it's positive, so it opens up. So both ends go to infinity. Looking at 14, this is odd. It's positive, so going to the right, it goes up forever, and going left, it goes down forever. So when x goes left, it goes down forever. When x goes to the right, it goes up forever. So you should know those, the end behavior based on if it's odd or even, and if the coefficient is positive or negative. All right, what else? And if we're done, we're done. That's okay. The midterm is, I think, pretty easy. It might be the easiest test of your entire semester. Yeah. So yeah, we can go ahead and stop. It's fine. I'll show you the password for this. All right. The password. The password is Hi 314159. Make sure it's capital P and lowercase I. So make sure that you type it in correctly. After you have completed the review, if you haven't done the review yet, you shouldn't take this test. If you do and you don't do well, that's your own fault. But make sure you go through, do the review by yourself. Don't just look at the work that I did. That doesn't really do anything for you other than confirm whether you know how to do it or not. And do your midterm. So it's due to today before tomorrow. And then tomorrow we will start unit number 3. All right, everyone. Well, good luck, and I will see you all tomorrow.